238. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagadgurum. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We salute Bhagavan Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the destroyer of the demons Kamsa and Chanura, and the dear darling of Mother Devaki, the Lord and God of the universe. We salute him again and again. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us all. We were reading the 2 episodes of Ajamila. Ajamila, very beautiful story. It is a story where it is I can say story, everything is story. We say Sri Ramakrishna's gospel is a story. It is not story, it is history. But there was an ancient time a person, very auspicious. His name was Ajamila. He was very devoted to God and every spiritual practices. And then he fell into something, and then to finishing that, when he was dying, and because of these bad activities what he did, forgetting his spiritual nature and falling in bad association, then the Jama, the god of death, sent his emissaries came to take the soul. You did this offensive activity, you have to go to hell. Come, we will put you to. And that time, God's Vishnu, Lord Vishnu's emissaries, they also came. Because this guy, at the end, only remembered the name of Lord Narayana. After Narayana was his son. Actually, seeing the Jama's emissaries with very punishing weapon in the hand, he got really afraid. And he has cried out, "Oh Narayana, help me, help me, help me." He means that his son. But actually it is Lord Narayan's name also name. So this is the important point, is that God's name is so powerful that it can take away all the sins done in the whole life, if one can take the name once but very sincerely. So this is the story. So we have read up to that part, that this Narayana, because of his taking the holy name of Lord Narayana inadvertently, unconsciously, then the Jamas left, and the Vishnu's emissaries, they took him to the Vishnu Loka. So today we will be reading Liberation of Ajamila, verse number 6.2.39. 38 we read the last time. Here he says, Sukadeva. Sukadeva said, by contact with holy men for a few minutes, Ajamila was filled with disgust for worldly life. Abandoning all worldly attachments and entanglements, he went to the sacred spot called doorway to Hari, Haridwara, Haridwar. Haridwar is Kankhal, in the foothill of Himalayas. Haridwar, that means you go to Hari, that is the door. Haridwar, 2 words. But it is, we call this place called Haridwar. Our Kankhal center is there, Haridwar. Evening Arati in the Ganga, people so gorgeous every evening there is a Arati. And people float lamp on the river in a paper. They put one candle or oil leaf, oil.
One type of made from leaves.
And the leaf make it like a bowl-like thing, and in that they put some light, and they float into Ganga. And very beautiful to see the whole Ganga filled with light. So Ajamila, by contact with the holy man for a few minutes, so now what is the context? Because he then was released by the Jama's emissaries, and when the Jama's emissaries left, then he came to senses that I have done something wrong and I should not have done all these things. So he was repenting for all those things, and repenting that all these sins have been wiped out, and he had a holy company, met the holy people. So by contact with holy men, for a few minutes, Ajamil was filled with disgust for worldly life. That's called the greatness of holy association. What is the greatness of holy association? Even for a moment, it is said, Kshanamapi sajjana sangati reka bhavati bhavarnave tarane nauka. Nauka means the boat. One can cross the boat. It is like a boat. What is the boat? Kshanamapi sajjana sangati reka. Eka, only the association of the Sangati, association of Sajjana, holy people. Holy people's association, even for a moment, Shanamapi Sajjana Sangati Reka, Bhavati Bhavarnavo Tarane Nauka. It helps anyone to cross the ocean of Nauka, means boat. It's like a boat, to cross the ocean of samsara. So that is the glory of holy company. So he says, by the company of the holy, for a few minutes, Ajamil's mind was filled with disgust for the worldly life. He then repented. What nonsense! I was engaged in these filthy worldly things of sense enjoyment. I lost myself, and he abandoned everything. Inspired by what you call renunciation. So abandoning all worldly attachments and entanglements, he went to the sacred spot called Haridwara. That's why Haridwara is, see how old is this? In the Bhagavatam it is mentioned. And that sadhus are all in our Haridwar center, Kankal center, most of the patients are sadhus. And that center was started by Swami Vivekananda's idea, Kalyanananda Swami. Nishchayananda, Kalyanananda, Swamiji's disciple, they sent and to serve these sadhus. And they used to go every day from Haridwar, Rishikesh, Haridwar to higher up in the Himalaya, Rishikesh, and serve the sadhus who are there. And now they come to the hospital for any treatment. And it is a place of the holy place. That's why even now it is an auspicious place where one can go and see many austere sadhus. So in that holy spot, he gave himself up to the practice of the yoga of devotion to Lord Hari. With all the senses gathered into the mind, he united that concentrated mind on the Atman, the innermost essence of all. So, there, see the transformation with the moments of holy association, inspired in his heart such a burning renunciation that he gave up everything and then went to Haridwar, and there he started meditating. Our sadhus go there. Kankal is a good place for austere meditation. And Rishikesh, next people go to Rishikesh, next go to Uttarakasi. But now it has all become city. There are cinema halls, and movie halls, and all type of hoi-choi people. But still, it is a spiritual seekers. Whole India go there to see Mother Ganga, Ganga Arati and all those things. In that holy spot, this Ajamila gave himself up to the practice of the yoga of devotion to Hari. With all the senses, then he controlled the senses and gathered, and then focused in the Atman which is within. That is the 40th verse. Sa tasmin deva sadhana asino yogamasrita. So, say Ajamila, tasmin say that at that deva sadhana, the house of the gods, asino, he sat in yogamasrita, in a yoga. And then what he did? Prattaharitya indriya grama, withdrawing, prattahara. Prattahara is the Raja Yoga says, prattahara. Prattahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So first step of meditation is prattahara, withdrawing the mind. Mind running, bring it back. Prattahara, what is prattahara? Indriya grama, the senses or sense organs which are running for outside, withdrawing them, jujojo mana atmani. He then engage that mind, withdrawn mind into the atma, the self. By such concentration, what he did? Next 41 verse says, Tato gunebho atmanang bijujya. Then he separated out the mind which engaged in the gunas, Sattva, Raja, Tamo, Gun, means this world which is made of the gunas, Atmanang bijujya, Atma samadhina, and they get absorbed, concentrated and focused in the Atman. Jujuje Bhagavad Dhamni. Then what he did? From identification with our body, the product of the gunas of Prakriti, then he united that liberated self with the intuitively experiencing Brahman, who is the worshipful Lord himself. So that means he concentrated his mind, withdrew the senses, and focused in the heart of hearts, and thought started thinking of Lord Krishna, Lord Narayana. When all his mental modifications have been subsided, as we do spiritual practice, we are doing the same thing. We are trying to subdue the spiritual forces which is getting digressed in all direction. So when all these mental modifications had subsided, he saw before him those emissaries of Mahavishnu who had appeared to him earlier because of his meditation and prayer. He ultimately saw that the two emissaries they came, one is Jama's emissary, another came the Vishnu's emissary. So Jama's emissary left, then Vishnu's emissary also disappeared, and then he did that austerity and practice with holy company, and when the holy company led him to the point that he withdrew the mind and concentrated in the heart, thinking of Lord Narayana, Vishnu, Atman Suddha, which is beyond gunas, and then focusing there, he again saw the emissaries of the Mahavishnu. Recognizing their identity, the Brahmana prostrated himself before them in salutation. So, as soon as he recognized that these are the emissaries of the Lord God Vishnu, Narayana, who takes the soul to the higher region of spiritual experience, so he prostrated. He recognized because he had a vision before. And now he recognizing them, prostrated himself before them. After their vision, he consigned his physical body into the sacred Ganga and immediately got a body similar to that possessed by those celestial beings. No? So that is the faith. That's why Concall people go to take a dip. Why? We are all past sins will go away and will be reborn like a devata, like a god. That's why he says, what Ajamila did, after the vision of this Vishnu's emissaries, he consigned his physical body into the sacred Ganga. That means he left his body in that place and he in the sacred Ganga. So as he entered into the Ganga and died, and immediately he got a new body. What is the new body? This is the physical body. He got a divine body, godly body. It is like exactly like the possessed by those celestial beings. Those Vishnu's emissaries, they are all divine emissaries, so he also became divine. He took a devata, that means human to God. Understand? All are silent. Sometimes nod head, sometimes say yes, that will inspire me, otherwise I will also sleep. So, he says, recognizing their identity, the Brahmana prostrated themselves and salutation. After saluting, he entered into the Ganga and gave up the physical body, and as soon as he gave the physical body, he got a renewed spiritual body. And that spiritual body is similar to the body of the gods and goddesses. Ascending a golden aerial car with those celestials, the Brahmana went to the ethereal region, to the realm of Mahavishnu, the Lord of Sri. That is the Vaikuntha Loka. This is giving an example. When one dies, holy people thinking of God, his soul will be at a new body. It is called the body of a god. God's body and human body, what is the difference? God's body is a subtle body, but it is effulgent. It radiates light. So he got that divine body and he entered into the chariot of the celestial. Then one plane. He's waiting for a plane and entered into the plane. That plane took him to the Vaikuntha Loka, a higher plane. By uttering the Lord's name, even once, this was Jamila, a libertine who broke all the laws of dharma, a herald's paramour, a fallen man who discarded all vows and codes of good conduct, a sure candidate for purgatory, even he came liberated at once. Let's see the glory of the God's name. That's why chant the name of the Lord and His glories unceasingly. That is the advice. Who are taking? We are taking God's name unceasingly, day and night. It is a reminder. Do that. Even if your mind is distracted, try that. Go on doing that. At the point of death, that thought will come. And I have to do nothing. If you think of God, last thought, then your soul will enter into that type of realm, what you are thinking. It's called, we believe that after death, these devotees will go to Ramakrishna Loka, the plane of where Ramakrishna, Brahmananda, Vivekananda, Shivananda, Premananda, they're all singing, dancing, and ecstasy, that type of plane. So that time here is the Vishnu Loka, Narayana, where Narayana is there, in that abode, you go and live in that plane, and much above the worldly, mundane things of world and worldliness. But how it happened, he said, by uttering the Lord's name, and he didn't utter long, only one time. And that too out of fear. Jama's emissaries are going to take him, and he cried out, "Oh, where is my Narayana? Come, come, come." And he took the name of Narayana, and Narayana is hearing the name. The power of name is such that it gave them the Jama's emissaries left, and the Vishnu's emissaries stayed on, and they, when they are saved, then they left him. And then gaining back, he had the holy company, and with the holy company's association, his mind became detached from the world, and his mind moved into the inner realm. He practiced the yoga, withdrawing the mind from outside to the internal, and that is beyond the three gunas. He focused there, and then at the point went to Haridwar, and there he sat and meditated and gave up his body. As soon as he gave up his body, then he saw another got subtle body, Suddha, Sukshma Sarira. And that Sukshma Sarira was auspicious. There in that body he saw the divine image of the emissaries of God's emissaries again. And seeing them, he entered into their chariot, and they went back. They go back and forth from heaven, and these emissaries, their job is that, to come back and forth and take the soul. So he took the soul of what you call Ajamila. And this Bhagavatam is praising that man who is a libertine, is a bad guy, fallen person, who discarded all the vows and codes of good conduct, a sure candidate for purgatory. That means he was destined to go to the hell. Even he became liberated at once. Therefore, 46th verse, Tataha, for those who aspire for liberation, there is nothing so effective as the chanting of the Lord's name for destroying the bad impressions of past actions and purifying the mind. For once love of God is developed, the mind never goes after self-centered actions for fulfillment of desires. Otherwise the mind will be contaminated by the qualities of the rajas and tamas. So, beautiful verse, no? Nataha param karma nibanna krintanang mumukshatam tirtho pada anukirtanat na jat punaha karma susajjate. Tatah param, after this, therefore, this who is aspiring for liberation, karma nibanna krintata, that it is there, the nothing effective of chanting of the Lord's name. Lord's name is so powerful, there is nothing parallel to Tirtha Padanu Kirtananam, means Lord's name. Bad impressions of the past action will be wiped out and purify the mind. For one's love for God, sajjate manoha, my mind gets attached to rajas tamubha, from rajas and tamas into God, then kalilang tatonnatha, then it will purify the mind. For once love for God is developed, the mind will never go after the self-centered actions, karma, for fulfillment of the desires. People will not make any effort to go to do some action for any personal end. What is the joy in doing that? It brings little effect. Little good act, so much good action can bring little name, fame, power, praise, and all these things. But what is the meaning of that? What is the need of that? And that mind will be contaminated by the qualities of rajas and tamas. So, mind does not go there. Whoever hears or recites with faith, now the glorification of this verse, of this Ajamila story, he says, now whoever hears this holy story of Ajamila and recites this, whoever hears or recites with faith and devotion this traditional account of Ajamila and his redemption, noted for his spiritual worth and his sin-effacing capacity, if he knows the mantra is so powerful, it takes away the sins and it has the power to efface all the sins of life. So if you know with devotion and faith one does that, will never be cast into purgatory. That means they will not go to any punishment for hell, nor will the attendants of Jama even look at him. Jayevang paramam gujjam iti hasam aghapaham srinuyat sraddhaya yukto jascha bhakta anukirtanat navaisa narakam jati. They will not go to Naraka. Ne na ikshito jamakinkara. If the Jama's emissaries will not even look at that person because he is so holy, they cannot enter there. Jat Jama Jad Jadapi Amangalamarto Vishnu Loko Mahiyate. Whatever demerits he might have there in the material world, he will gain high position, high place in the realm of Vishnu. So this is all glorification. That means how much kind they are telling about these stories and giving us inspiration to remember the Lord's name so that we become free from our lower propensities and get the liberation. Thakur used to keep this Ajamil story many times in the Bhagavat story. Ramakrishna told that. Whatever demerit you have incurred in the material world, in the earth, might have been, you will gain a high place in the realm of Vishnu, because if one has the faith in the name of God's glories, and also he takes the name and he expresses those glories to others, that they will be filled with this liberation. 49, the last verse of this chapter. Though Ajamila had called the name of Hari at the time of death, intending to summon his son Narayana, still he attained to the realm of Mahavishnu, because he uttered the sacred name of the Lord, Narayana. It is then needless to describe the glorious result of uttering the name of Hari with faith and devotion. Now he is saying, so look at that. If unconsciously calling upon God's name, Narayana, the Ajamila, become free from all punishment for hell. So if you do it with love and knowledge and wisdom and love, affection, then what net result will happen? That means it will be the greatest benefit to every human being. There is a footnote, let me see, I will read that. Normally, this verse indicates that unlike some of its commentators, the Bhagavata is not intolerant of the view that takes this episode as an eulogy, as indicated in the preceding verses, though its sympathy is more with literalism. It should, however, be carefully noted that the intentions of Bhagavad text in stressing the unqualified holiness of the name is not to encourage wrongdoings in the hope of effacing easy expiation through utterances of the divine names of the world, knowing or unknowingly. Someone should not draw a conclusion that the Bhagavad is saying, okay, you go do whatever nonsense, and last time anyway, Bhagavan take the name and God will come. This is not the intention. Some people may take this reading of this text, and that way they can explain. But see, why shall I do good? Why shall I do meditation now? Why shall I detach my mind from the worldly thing? I'll do whatever I like, and last moment I'll think of God, Narayana, and best, I'll be free. No, don't take that easy meaning here. Yeah. It is firmly held by the Vaishnava thinkers that nothing can be a more unpardonable insult to the name, Namo Aparadha, than entering such a light attitude towards the name as to consider it a cheap remedy available at one's choice. In the bhakti school, they don't encourage this type of feeling that you do whatever you do, and last moment you will think of Krishna and Krishna will come. No. This is a nama aparadha. If you think like that, it is you are making some unpardonable insult. That is called unpardonable insult. Bhakti Shastra or nama aparadha, insult. Remembrance of God's name at death takes place only in the case of men whose lives have had a devotional trend, or Ajamila's is an exceptional case, probably an instance of divine grace. Ajamila's story is a special condition, is a special grace, divine grace, special condition. Don't think that everyone of us will do and Jama will leave us. Jama will take to the hell. That is the point. It also highlights the unqualified greatness of the name, great name, even in a purely objective senses. In pure grace, there can be no law or regularity principles as in justice, or as it is stated by Ajamila himself in a later verse, his good deed in a previous birth might have been the cause of this unexpected good fortune. In this view, grace is tempted with justice. Here also, Narayana was a good, this Ajamila was a good guy. No, as we read the life, Ajamila was a good guy, he was a good Brahmin, and he was dedicated to meditation, prayer and everything. Only in between, he fell down in some moral path. Because he has done so far, that's why in one call, Narayana came. But those who do all the time and never was pious, auspicious, as I give the example, Narayana's case, and that will be Ajamil's case, can be understood. Suppose I am going from here to San Diego, and I take an exit on the road in the middle, say El Toro, and then we go to Kali Mandir. And after visiting Kali Mandir, singing, dancing, doing this, that, then I go to the beach. Then I go for walking, doing this and spending. And suddenly you remember, I was going to San Diego. What will you do? So, what will you do? You come out of that, you detach from them, and you come back to the same exit point and take to the freeway. So this Ajamila's mid-story of doing something wrong was an exit point. But when he finished that experience, then started his journey. That's why one time he took the name of Narayana. That has saved him from all misdeeds. In this view, grace is tempered with justice. That means grace also, there should be some justice in grace, because grace also is deserving someone can get grace. If an undeserving candidate getting grace does have no value. If he does not fit into the mindset of the divinity, even if you give the touch of pure thought, they will not accept. So many people are there. You go and talk about God, how many people will be sincere to listen to that? Those who have good karma, they only can do. In these two verses, Bhagavata seems to prefer the acceptance of the power of name as such, though it is tolerant of the view of the considers the claim to be a eulogy. But it has to be noted that Ajamila got, by taking the name in desperation, was the prospect of mukti, but not bhakti. Another point here. For the person question remains, in the light of Ajamila's episode, what is needed of long and sustained devotion practice. That For the question remains, in the light of Ajamila's episode, what is the need then for a long and sustained devotional practices? The commentator Sridhara answers this question by saying that sinful tendencies of mind, as distinguished from sin, will be eliminated only by the long practice of devotional discipline. Very important point. Sridhar Swami, he has answered this question, how he says, the sinful tendencies of the mind sometimes become a tendency generate. How? Doing so many bad karma, a bad tendency grows. The sinful tendency of the practice of the mind, it is wiped out by constant God's name. If you take the name of God constantly, what it does? Wipe out all the misdeeds. So that is necessary. Unless one does sadhana, does spiritual practice, repeat the holy name of Lord, to wipe out the tendency of or the samskara which is embedded in the mind, you have to clean that. Then only sin will go. So Sridhar Swami says that by saying that sinful tendencies of mind as distinguished by sin. Sin is one thing and sinful tendency is another. Sridhar Swami says, only with the divine love, sinful tendencies of mind will be eliminated only by long practice of devotional discipline. Main thing, there is a need of spiritual practice, there is a need of everyday japa, meditation, prayer, etc. to wipe out the sinful tendency. We have a tendency gathered because of our past association. A mind, you see, suddenly mind says, let me go for this, let me go for that. This external world, mind runs here and there. Why? Because it says a tendency. It has gathered that momentum. When those tendencies, how will you overcome? With one, Ramakrishna said, with one needle, one thorn has pricked in the feet, you take another thorn to bring it out. So we do the holy mantra, holy japa. That is necessary to counteract the negative activity or thought what I have already gathered in my mind.
Can I lock the door?
Huh?
Can I lock the door?
No. She will not come. Only then will divine love as deep-rooted and unshakable sentiment of the heart be generated. That is very important. Only then will divine love as deep-rooted and unshakable sentiment of the heart be generated. According to the Bhakti Shastra, mukti or liberation is not the highest gift of God to man. He is saying, Ajamila attained to realm of Vishnu. That means he has mukti. Mukti is one standard. Bhakti is much higher. Understand that point? That's why when you give the four fruits, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, moksha is the liberation. We say, I don't want it. I give it away. Give me mukti. Not mukti, bhakti. That's why here is this ground that your practice is necessary to wipe out, and that may give Ajamila attain to mukti, liberation from the life of three gunas. But bhakti is higher than mukti. So for that you do sadhana. Mukti or liberation is not the highest gift of God. Bhakti is his highest gift, therefore called Panchama Purushartha, fifth Purushartha, the end to be realized as bhakti. Bhakti is considered to be the Pancham, four is Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Fifth is called the Panchama, fifth Purushartha, the goal of life, and that is bhakti. The superiority of bhakti over mukti is emphasized in several places in this text, in the third chapter of the book. It is said. It is said that nearly by dying at Kashi, one obtains mukti. That is also true. There is a proverb, Kashite morle mukti habe. No one says bhakti habe. If you die in Benaras, Kashi, anyone can die. Even a worm dies, he will be mukta. That is the...
Because Shiva is there. Shiva is the knowledge person and Mukti.
So I am saying mukti.
Vrindavan is the bhakti place.
But my point is that Bhakti Shastra will say mukti is easy, bhakti is rare. So from that standpoint, it is said you can get mukti, liberation you can get, but not to bhakti. Bhakti is that, as Thakur has clearly says, if you get bhakti, God will be following you. God will be coming as your son. God will be coming as your friend, Arjuna. Arjuna's friend is Lord of the universe, God. So what? Krishna is bearing all the trouble for Arjuna. So that's the bhakta stand. And bhakta, that's why 5 moods of bhakti. Santo, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhura. So this is the important thing to understand. These are very deeply connected thoughts. Bhakti and mukti, bhakti and mukti. So, it is said that merely by dying at Kashi one obtains mukti. So also mukti may be had by uttering the divine name at the time of death. But bhakti is generated only through constant practice of devotional disciplines. It is a bodo katha, what Ramakrishna Mission emphasizes this idea. It's good that they have given this note. But bhakti is generated only through constant practice of devotion, devotional discipline, and attainment thereby of not merely expiation from sin, but effacing of sinful tendencies. Sin can be removed, but sinful tendency remains. It is said you can clean a container with garlic. The garlic was there, garlic was making a smell. So you can throw away the garlic. But you cannot get out the garlic smell from the container. So samskaras are so deep, very difficult to wipe out that. That's why, again, that's why people say, I meditate on God and bad thought comes. Why is bad thoughts coming? Because it is a deep-rooted impression is there, which we don't know. Apparently it is not there. You have, say monks and nuns, they give up everything. And that means you throw away. But again, we struggle because there is a subconscious, the samskara remains and wipe out. That's why sadhana. It's a very clear distinction that you can have liberation by God's grace, but you cannot have bhakti. Thakur said, Ami bhakti di mukti dite kator noi, I am not at all bothered about to give liberation to anyone. But I am very careful and I am worried. I really stop thinking 100 times to give some devotion. He used to sing that song. It is a Krishna song, though, Vaishnava song. So now we'll start the chapter 3. That is this Ajamil episode. sanctity of the divine name. Already one question has come. So shall we end here? End of the chapter 2. So we can start next day. It is also, Ajamil continues here, this chapter 3, 6.3.1, we can start next day. So what shall we do? 10 minutes how to question ache? Is there so many questions? Huh? We should end otherwise, eh? You have a question? Anyone have a question? No? So let me read then, third chapter. Huh? So, another 10 minutes, so this third chapter, 6.3.1, is the Ajamil episode, Sanctity of Divine Name. Again, a discussion is that. Raja Parikshit, the king Parikshit, said, on hearing the report of his attendants about the obstruction caused to their work by the emissaries of Mahavishnu, to whose control the whole world is subjected, what did Jama, the Lord of righteousness, reply, having had to suffer this rebuff? That means the king is asking this question. Acha, Ajamil was going to go to the Jama's house, and the emissaries came, and Vishnu's emissaries say, no, no, you cannot touch him. He said, our jurisdiction is not your jurisdiction. And so, my jurisdiction or your jurisdiction? He says, oh, he has taken God's name, our jurisdiction. He said, no, he has not committed so much sin, it is our jurisdiction. Anyhow, Jama's emissaries left. But then they thought, he went back to report to Jama. This is the situation, sir, it happened, what shall I do? The king is saying what? The emissaries went back to Jama, and certainly Jama was unhappy. What happened then with Jama and Vishnu? Understand the point? Jama's emissaries and Vishnu's emissaries, ultimately Vishnu's emissaries win the case, and Jama's emissaries had to leave. And when they leave that place, then he went to Jama's to report to his boss, Jama. And what Jama reacted, and how Jama acted, and what happened there, I want to know. The king asked that, says, O great Rishi, never have we heard that Jama's order on punishment has ever met with obstruction. When Jama gives punishment order, no one can obstruct it. Jama comes and you will have to dead. Some sadhu maybe. They will open. They have their keys. What they need. Now, what happened? Achha. O great Rishi, never have we heard that Jama's order on punishment has ever met with obstruction. This is a doubt which all would have, and there is none but you to clarify it. So, you can only clarify this problem, that what? The Jama's emissaries reported to Jama, and then what Jama said, because his order is inviolable. You cannot violate that order. Sri Shuka then said, O king, the attendants of Jama informed their master, who is residing at Sammamani, of their discomfort feature. Sammamani of that. Sammamani means what? Any English word? Sammamani, do you know? S-A-M-Y-A-M-A-N-I. M-A-N-I. N-I. Sammamani.
That is a city of Jama.
Oh, a city of Jama. Right, Bhabji? That means Jama's kingdom. Jama is the throne, sitting in the kingly throne. And this emissary is reported, sir, we went there, this man Gayad was... Sang Jamani. Oh, Sammamani na. Taito, Sang Jamani. Sam Yamani. Sang Jamani. Acha, bhalo, that one.
Another name of Jama is Sanjamani Pati.
Oh, the Lord of Sanjamani, the indweller of Sanjamani. The attendants of Jama informed their master, who is residing at Sanjamani, of their discomfort. The attendants of the Jama said, "O master, how many are there in this universe as enforcers of the moral law, awarding the fruits of action to living beings, according as they are sattvika, predominantly good, rajasika, with a tilt of evil, and tamasika, fully evil. If there are many as such enforcers of the moral law, it can be that some get their desert and some do not. And there will be utter confusion in the awarding of the fruits of karma." He said, no, in the world how many types of karma is we have different results. If someone does bad, he should get punishment. If he does some good, he should get some praise. But this recent history, he did so much bad thing. And he said, no, it is Jama's jurisdiction is not here. It is Vishnu's jurisdiction. So they are confused. If a multiplicity of enforcers is accepted as required for the larger number to be dealt with, these enforcers will be the rulers by courtesy only the feudatory chieftains, unless there is an overlord. A single system of law cannot be enforced uniformly. So there should be a uniform rule in the creation. This must work bad, this is the punishment. This must bad, that is the punishment. This must good, that is the higher position. So this should be a rule. It should not be broken like that. So you are the one with sway over all men and their rulers, the one endowed with the power to distinguish between the sins and merits of the individuals, and enforce the moral law by giving punishments to those who deserve them. So you are the Jama. You should be the one powerful enforcers. You will enforce. What you will enforce? This punishment, this much bad karma, this much punishment. No, you are the power. You are the judge. You should be the judge. Not everyone will judge, and then there will be discrepancy, no? Therefore, the authority of your enforcement of due punishment no longer prevails in the world. No? These emissaries are reporting to the boss. Your words are no more valuable. Vishnu's order prevails more. For it is now been violated for celestials of wonderful appearances. By your order, we are bringing a great sinner to the purgatory. That means Naraka. When these celestials cut the rope we had tied him with and released him by force. If you think it fit, we would like to hear about them from your Holiness himself. As soon as the sinner utters Narayana, these celestials appeared on the scene, saying, "Do not be afraid." So this is the question has been posed to whom? To the Yama, the god of death. And who is posing this question? Who? Huh? Kesava? You didn't follow what I am telling so long? Huh?
Maybe I pronounced wrong. Yama's servant.
Yama's servants who came to take the Ajamil to the hell, and that Yama's, the servants are talking to their boss, Yama himself. The sir, you send us to see if someone does wrong karma, to bring him to punishment. But this person was released, though he did so much bad karma. So what, your rule prevails or someone's rule? You are the boss. So please tell me, what should we do in such case? That is the question. Now Sri Shukadev will say it is the supremacy of Hori. Lord Hori, his name is supreme. That will be elaborated in the next verse. So we ended here today reading verse number 10. So 6.3.10. We end 6.3.10. So Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Any question has come?
Yeah, no questions at all.
Okay, we will have our next class at 7:30, Ch3.10 Upanishad at 7:30 p.m. Okay?
You have question?
The first question about imagination, skip. She asked the same question every day.
Oh, she's a gosh, okay.
The other questions are good,
Okay.
but that one she asked the same question.
Somebody asked a question, she could ask the same question everywhere. You want to answer?
I don't understand. What is it?
Somebody asked a question that she asked in every class, so that is why she.
Oh.
So,
No, if it is a meaningful question, then we can talk about
so should I give that question to you or not? That question.
it. देखते दाओ ना.
You make it the best answer.
Huh? At least he is putting some question. We should thank him.
Many questions are there now.
Many questions.
Good question.
First one.
What is the role of imagination? Oh, acha. What a good question. What is the role of imagination in spiritual life? In what creative ways can we use imagination, visualization to remember God? Yeah, it has a good indication that what is the role? Imagination. We imagine first, all spiritual life is imagination. You are thinking of God. It's sitting like that in your heart. So this is imagination because you don't concretely see anything. But this imagination, as Guru has said, he is sitting in your heart. Yes, there is some entity in your heart. You may not see it, but by spiritual practice, creative way of use imagination, visualization, meaning mantra, thinking of the mantra, when we recreate that image in our heart, gradually, one day it becomes concretized. And then that concrete thing becomes an experience that you feel it. So creative imagination you can say, or imagination has a place. But if that imagination should be guided by whom? Not by any imagination you do, that will be bring the result. But when it's coming from authority means the gurus, the spiritual teachers, say Ramakrishna is saying, Sri Chaitanya is saying, Swami Vivekananda saying, Holy Mother saying. So those authorities, we are only quoting them. So those words are true, and if we imagine, repeatedly feel and imagine their appearance, their presence in, it will fructify. Yes, it has a great value in it. Another question is that is Bhakti tradition different in Vaishnava and Shakta? Now, Bhakti tradition is a Shakta tradition is also, Bhakti is their mother. They worship mother as, and some say Vishnu. The Vishnu Bhakta and Matri Bhakta. But they are all Bhaktas. Anyone, most of the people are all Bhaktas worshipping this way or that way. So we're all, from Vedantic perspective, do these lokas really exist, or they are just some imaginary heaven? Yes, Vedanta perspective, these lokas really exist. Even then. Because if you say this world exists, well, yes. Because why? You see it. How do you see it? Because your mind is telling that it is this. So the mind in this plane says this world is true. Okay, na? And mind in that other level mind in another level, when you dream, the dream is true or not. Yes, so long you see that is true, because that is also mind is showing. So you go to heaven, there is a loka, yes. If you are purer mind, you will see them. An infinite number of planes are there, and you can experience infinite number of realities. But these realities, that's why, will all collapse when one reaches that mindless state. When mind is no more working as mind, then that is a state when abhang manasa, it's beyond mind, beyond aprappo manasasaho, that it returns back, not reaching that reality, mind returns back. Is taking the name of Lord is same the mantra you have received from your Guru? Yeah, true. Receiving the name of Lord is the same as the mantra. Or even sometimes one may not attend the Guru mantra. If they have devotion and they repeat the name of God in any way, that will generate the devotion. But it is coming from Guru is much more valid and strong. Okay? Good questions. 3 questions are good.
No, another one.
Diye dao, quickly.
So the mantra is more effective if you have more devotion, but the mantra creates devotion.
They do both ways.
So they both kind of grow at the
He help each other. Mantra creates the image inside, imagination. It helps to bring the imagination. এটা চলে গেছে গান চলে গেছে Okay. Bhagavatam stresses bhakti. Shankaracharya has written many stotras, but has he also written Bhasva on bhakti? He places Jnanopath higher than bhakti. Is it not? Are there different opinions? Yes, Bhagavat stresses on bhakti, and whenever you follow that tradition, to you that is the highest. But Jnana is higher than bhakti? I cannot say that. Bhakti and Jnana are all the same, Thakur said. Jnani will also reach the same, Bhakta will also reach the same. These are paths. After that path, when you come back, you may be a Bhakta. You live like a Bhakta. You live like a Jnani. But you know what bhakti means, tuning to God consciousness. And Jnani will say, not the body, not the mind, but that consciousness. There is no difference in that. So Bhagavatam stresses bhakti, and Shankaracharya also wrote some bhakti books also, but he has not explained in the bhakti language. He has expressed it in Jnana language. That is his bhakti. Whatever you with devotion do, that is called bhakti. So, Everyone has a different opinion. All spiritual life is different opinion, standing on different platform, looking at the same truth. So, Bhagavata's philosophy, when you read, you have to take the bhakti as the highest. To bhakti path is the only. Don't go to Gyanis. They are dry people. Then Ramakrishna also said, Bhairavi Brahmani told Ramakrishna, Baba, don't go to the Nangta. That means this Tutapuri. All your devotion will go away. Because she is the follower of Bhakti path. She is the guru in the Bhakti path. That's why for her, this is the... But Ramakrishna is a harmonizer. She said, no, why not? Let me test this way also. And after testing the Vedanta way, he said, came back, they are all same, only different ways to reach the goal. So that's a great achievement of spiritual life to understand. Okay, we end here. Thank you all for attending and putting such nice questions. May Mother bless us all. So we'll see you again at 7:30 if you are here. Thank you.